broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Robert O. Young with the pH Miracle Center, phmiracle.com, and enjoy Extreme Health Radio with Justin and Kate. They are incredible folks. They have unbelievable information, and they share it freely. So tune in daily.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here on another episode of ExtremeHealthRadio.com. This is episode 248, so thank you all for joining us. For reference, today is April 12th. Is that right?
Yep, you got it.
April 12th, 2014. And we're going to be talking with Charee Balm today about essential oils, and her website is thathippiemom.com. That's that, H-I-P-P-I-E, mom.com. So stay tuned for that. We have lots of great questions for her. And if you'd like to join the show, there's lots of different ways to do that. You can go to extremehealthradio.com/live and join the chat room on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. And you can also send us an email if you like, Justin at extremehealthradio.com.
Or Kate, K-A-T-E, at extremehealthradio.com.
And you can also join our Facebook page to stay up to date with everything we have going on the show. And so there's lots of different ways to join everything we have going on. And today we have a really great show. I'm really excited to have Charee on. She's been a longtime friend of Kate's for many, many years. And they actually have a history of working in the salon together, don't they?
Unfortunately, but fortunately. But we'll get into that, too, in a few minutes. But, yeah.
So this is going to be really fun to learn about essential oils because we've been learning a lot about them lately. And it's just going to be cool to learn how to implement them into our lives. And I see we have a whole bunch of oils sitting here on the desk.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
I brought some to smell and experience while we're sitting here.
Is there a problem if we mix, if there's multiple smells going on at one time? Or
no, not at all. No? More the merrier.
Okay, good. That's good. So what are the small ones there on the...
Oh, these are the lids right here.
Oh, okay.
I have them all opened and prepared to smell.
Nice. Which ones do you have there?
Well, I thought it'd be good to start with, before we talk, I started with some vetiver, which is my new absolute most favorite oil right now. It's my new go-to. It's a grass found in India, and it's super, it's grounding. It calms your anxiety and kind of your anxious thoughts and scattered brain. So it's calming, but it also is clarity and helps you think in a clear way. So I thought that'd be a good way to start, right?
You might want to pass that one on over.
Yeah, take a whiff of that right there.
I feel like every time we
it's
get
kind of a woodsy,
show, it's like,
right?
Where do we put this?
A woodsy, grassy smell. And then this is my other absolute favorite, frankincense. And I will get into this extensively because I cannot say enough about frankincense. I put a little drop between my eyebrow right here. And this is going to oxygenate your pineal and your pituitary gland. And it's opening your mind. You're able to think more clearly. It's amazing.
The smell of frankincense.
Isn't it awesome?
I'm putting a dot on my forehead right now.
Do it.
I love it. I love it. That's so great. So we got all kinds of different oils, and you just got back, I think, from a conference, right, this weekend?
I did, yeah.
What did you learn? What was that?
Oh my goodness. It was so exciting to be, for 2 days, to be surrounded with other people who are like-minded. But what hit me the most was how we're all from completely different walks of life. I mean, they were anywhere from, you know, your 70-year-old grandmothers who are using these oils and loving it. There were businessmen from Japan. You had your suit and ties. You had your hippie moms who had, you know, their babies strapped to them, and
with their patchouli smell.
There were, the patchouli lovers, and there were cancer survivors who had used essential oils in healing. And it was just amazing to be surrounded with a group of people who we have all had our lives changed by this and are excited about it. And yeah, it was really great.
So let's chat a little bit about, because you and I met all those years ago in a salon, which actually was interesting because it was an Aveda salon we started out with. And I remember there being essential oils around. Remember, we used to have like a lavender and a couple different scalp massages.
Yeah, they were mixed in. Mm-hmm.
And start with that. And the aromatherapy aspect of that was really cool. And I know oils have been around for, bazillions
forever
of years.
And ever.
But
yeah.
back then, you and I were more into the hair and not so much into the, when did you kind of start getting into the oils, and what turned you on to this?
Wow. Well, it was after, 6 years probably of really starting to study intensely nutrition and alternative medicine and just kind of my own process and journey and healing, that I was eventually introduced to essential oils, and they enhanced everything that I had already been doing. It took it to a different level. I feel like my body was given the tools it needed to heal itself more than it ever had been before, which was amazing.
So what happened? You got or had some health issues that you were dealing with during the time of the salon?
Yeah. And it started a little before the salon, and it's just been such a process of discovery and kind of peeling back that onion and getting to the root of, I didn't know that I was already predisposed to autoimmune disorders. A lot of people in my family suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. My sister has a really aggressive case of that, and MS in my family, and just a lot of stuff that I didn't even realize was autoimmune. So I was diagnosed, this is probably 4 years ago, with Hashimoto's disease, and I had really extreme adrenal fatigue. I'd always had hormone imbalance that I honestly never really thought about until my husband and I were like, oh, we might want to start a family after being married for 5 years. Like, oh, wait, you actually have to have a menstrual cycle to do that. Oh, maybe that's important that I look into the fact that that doesn't happen for me. It just, my mind was like, okay, there's something to this that I need to discover. And in my discovery, I realized that a lot of the chemicals that I'd been exposed to for 10 years of having my hands in color and being around, the hairsprays and just all of that, it really took a toll on my health. And it's been a journey of detoxing and kind of addressing the root issues there.
So how much do you think of whatever health concerns you were experiencing at that time were contributed by the salon, and how much do you think were your own perhaps genetic weakness or whatever?
I think half and half. I think I was already suffering hormonal imbalance, and I think that because I had a weaker constitution and I wasn't aware of nutrition and I wasn't protecting myself, I think it just triggered that spiral of, it just sent me from one thing to the next of bad symptoms, which some people wouldn't experience, but I did. So, I can attribute it to that for sure.
And unfortunately, it seems like a lot of people we know from that field have had. You and I, 2 out of, both of us have
absolutely
had major stuff going on.
In fact, a lot of people at the conference, it was interesting, a lot of them were previous hairdressers, people in the beauty industry who, like you said, essential oils are mixed in this. But then as they dug deeper, they realized there's really healing properties to this, and I'm exposing myself to something really unhealthy. And they went on a completely different course and went with essential oils. So that was I'm
actually very encouraged to hear that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are waking up, and it just seems like it's a hard call to make a big career move, though.
It really
you struggle
is.
between coming back to California, you moved away for a while,
and
starting maybe another more organic salon, and that just didn't even seem like the path you were really, really passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be, the green lights and the open doors have to be in front of you. And anytime I revisited going back to that, it was a closed door and that check in your spirit, like this isn't it. And as I started to really get more passionate about the oils, it was just open doors and green lights, and like, okay, this is my passion. Like, let's go with this, because this is what I care about. I care about helping people who've experienced what I've experienced, and I care about empowering people to learn the tools and have the tools to change their life and to take charge of their family's health. And I'm all about steering your own ship. You cannot count on somebody else to do that for you. Yes, there's naturopathic doctors that are amazing and very helpful, But I think the really good ones are the ones that give you the tools to manage your health and to be in charge of your own body, you know?
And that's kind of what Kate and I talk about all the time, is how, you know, it's so important to do that, because, you know, in our culture, it's just amazing how everything's deferred. You know, everything's like defer to the guy in the white coat, or defer to someone else, some expert, or see what he says. And so little of it is empowering information to help you take care of your own health. And we had a guy on, Dr. Andrew Saul, once, and I think his website's dryourself.com. And it's just such a cool concept, because that's what we really should all be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's I just think it's such a big deal. And so many times people go to the doctor for a diagnosis, or they go for some other reason, or they go just to feel good about whatever diagnosis they have. And when in reality, like you said, we should just all be, I mean, we live in our bodies. Why don't we want to take care of it? And learn how it works?
Absolutely.
It's weird.
Yeah. It's not just taking someone's word for it and going, oh, okay, I'll do this, I'll take this. It's like, I want to know why, and I want to teach other people why. And I came to a crossroads with Hashimoto's where I'd been going to naturopaths quite a bit, and I was, you know, I had changed my diet significantly. I was on a bajillion supplements. I mean, so many.
We know the feeling.
Yeah, you know. And it was helping. But it was just like, this is not quite there yet, but it's helping. I'm on the right path. But, you know, I was doing blood work all the time, and I was just so dependent on these people. And I actually ended up going to another doctor who said, oh, we'll just get you on Synthroid. Forget about all this. Just, you know, take something, get your thyroid up and running. And I was so worn down by that point that I was like, maybe I will. And I gave myself just a week to really, really pray about it and really think about it and really see what resonated with me. And it was a clear no, don't do it. Really? And I was so happy that I listened to that gut feeling and that knowing that that wasn't for me, because that sent me into, I met another woman, Annie Waugh, who I've talked to you about, who you can, AnnieWaugh.com. She's amazing.
How do you spell her last name?
Waugh.
Gotcha.
And
that's ANNIE?
Yes, correct. And she does neurostructural integration, NST, which is kind of an extension of like the Bowen method. It's soft touch chiropractic that's more dealing with your meridians and the vibrational connection. And I started seeing her, and I started working with frequency and realizing the power of frequency rocked my world, opened my mind. It changed everything for me. And I realized through the frequency that I'm exposed to, even through what I'm saying, I'm affecting my autoimmune disease. And I started speaking healing and life to my thyroid over my body. I changed, I was taking frequency tinctures. I was doing a little bit of essential oils at that time, but that was the connection of like, I really started to see profound healing. And then I realized essential oils are frequency. That's what they're high. They are, right? Yes. They're high resonated frequency that are going to affect each organ of your body in a different way. And I realized without, you know, I didn't even know when I was using essential oils, that's what they were doing. And so to connect the dots and go, okay, this totally plays into what I've been experiencing for healing. It was a great kind of natural segue for me.
So what is, you just said a couple of seconds ago, the Bowen method. What is that?
It's basically soft touch chiropractic. It's like, it's different meridian points in your body. And obviously someone like Annie can explain it so much more thoroughly than me. But instead of actually adjusting the bones by cracking, you're actually working with the ligaments and the soft tissue. And the different meridian points send vibrational messages to different points in your body. And you can I actually physically saw my daughter's body align itself. She had fallen from from a deck, first, like a whole story, and fell on her neck on a trash can. Thank God it was a plastic trash can. She didn't fall on the rocks. It was amazing.
Holy moly.
So I took her to Annie to get NST, and she showed me how her spine was popped up an inch in one area. And all she did, my daughter's laying there like she's getting a massage, like, oh, this is great. And she's touching points on her body, and she was putting essential oils on. And she says, okay, let's let her lay here and let's let her body align itself. And she put her hands on the spine, and she said, well, watch the spine. And I physically saw her spine adjust itself. And it blew my mind. It was amazing. Wow. Your body is so amazingly designed, and it has every capability to heal itself. You just have to be giving it the right tools. And I mean, back to essential oils, that's what they are. They're not healing you. Your body is healing you. You're just giving your body what it needs to align and adjust itself to be working properly in homeostasis. So with essential oils, because I know with homeopathics, it's kind of I think it's the other end of the spectrum where there's so little of the actual amount of the substance in the liquid. Right. And I think homeopathics at some point gets down to the point where there's actually no molecular physical matter. It can almost be a placebo effect at that point. So that's carrying the energy of, or resonance of whatever that is. So essential oils are, I guess, similar in the sense that they're energetic, but they're incredibly potent. Concentrated, right? In fact, like this little bottle of peppermint oil I have right here, which smells amazing.
Yeah, pass that one over.
Essential oils are 50 to 70 more times potent than an herb. Oh my gosh. So if you were to take a peppermint leaf and make tea out of it, you would have to drink 28 cups of that tea to equal one single drop that Justin's putting on his finger of essential oils. You'd have to drink 28 cups of tea to equal one drop of this. That's how potent it is. It's amazingly strong. You know what I can't figure out with essential oils? Because I heard someone say this once too. There was someone who said, who was I listening to? I forget who I was listening to. Someone was saying that there's in one ounce thing of rose or something, there's 100,000 rose heads. Yes. How are that's why rose is so expensive, because some like Melissa and rose and jasmine, it takes so many parts, flower petals to make a little bottle of that. I mean, you're using like 9,000 pounds of Melissa flower to make 1 pound of oil. Wait, say that again. 9,000 pounds? Yeah, of the flower to make 1 pound of oil. So that's why it's those are the ones that are more precious and expensive. But rose oil is the highest frequency of oil that you could possibly use. I think it's like 370. Something like that. Is that because it's so concentrated? I believe so. I think it's just its natural constituents. Just the rose in itself is a high frequency. That's amazing, because you think, okay, 9,000 pounds of the rose heads or whatever, but then you think, Melissa, how many rose heads does it take to make 9,000 pounds? That's crazy. Yeah, a lot. So many. So many. Like one of those huge more than I have in my garden. Right? Yeah. You wouldn't even make a drop. Yeah. Do you think is it detrimental to put that in your body? I wouldn't imagine it is, but I've heard people say, like, you could never, like, let's say we ate rose petal or rose heads, and, you would say, well, you never eat that much. It's too much to put in the body. Right. Some people make that argument. Is there any validity? Because you're still only putting 1 drop of it in your body. So it's right. I mean, I wouldn't say go and do 20 drops, but here's the thing with the side effects. There really aren't any negative side effects of essential oils. The body is going to take what it needs of that oil, and then it's going to metabolize the rest of it just like it would nutrients and eliminate it that way. So you can't do too much in that regard. The only time someone would have maybe a reaction is if, the Herxheimer response or the healing crisis, if your body, it's causing such an aggressive detoxing effect that you're going to experience a healing crisis. Okay. That's where I would say, maybe back off and do a little bit less. Like if you were doing aggressively like oregano and cilantro to kind of detox the gut and get out those heavy metal toxins, and you are doing a ton of that, you're feeling a reaction, you might want to back down a little bit, but it's not necessarily that the oils are causing a side effect or are harmful. It's that your body is releasing so many toxins so fast.
That makes sense. And I know, like you and I always talk about on walks and stuff, it's like really getting back to listening to your body, because
Absolutely.
I know lavender, is so amazing, but I was doing too many drops of it in my bath, and it's actually irritating me.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well,
and if you have an allergic response to a plant,
Sure.
my brother-in-law's allergic to eucalyptus, so he can't use eucalyptus oil, clearly. You know what I mean? It's like if you're allergic to a plant,
Right.
yeah, you will have a response, obviously,
Right.
to the oil because it's concentrated.
Right. So it's, again, listening to,
Yeah.
imagine that, using
really
your own body.
listening to your body.
Yeah.
And that was another thing I forgot to mention about my own healing when I was on so many supplements. I learned through Annie, who's doing the NST, she's like, well, your body knows what it needs. Your subconscious, you know what you need to heal. Ask yourself. And she taught me how to do muscle testing. And so before I take anything, even an essential oil, I ask myself if I need it. And my body, I've learned my response, and my body will tell me what it needs. And it becomes almost an intuitive thing where like, do I need 2 drops of lavender in my bath, or do I need to dump the whole thing in?
Right. So you're saying there might be an easy way than dumping it in and getting a reaction.
Just ask.
Imagine asking myself. Because I've started integrating the muscle testing. I mean, Justin and I both have. When we took a trip to Texas a couple months ago, we met with a really great guy who was I guess he was a nutritionist, but he showed us how to muscle test our own supplements and things like that. But you tend to do the leaning test, don't you?
I feel like it's the most obvious, and it's been the easiest to teach my kids, because you either lean forward if you're having a positive response and your body's like, yes, go for it. And you lean backwards if you're having a negative reaction to it. And so it's kind of the most obvious. I mean, you can do the finger test, or you can snap, or you can rub your fingernail. There's different ones that you can do. And I think you just kind of find the one that works for you the best. But it's so fun to see my kids, pick up a supplement and ask their body if they need it. And they're going to lean one way or another. And there you go.
That is just so cool. I mean, talk about having kids at a young age be exposed to how their bodies work.
It's so cool to teach your kids. And it's almost like, Mother's Day was yesterday, and you're thinking about, what legacy am I passing on to my children? And that's so vital to our family and who we are and what we stand for as a family, is to pass on, not only a spiritual legacy, but also an empowerment of like, this is your body. You are in charge of this. And these are the natural things that have been created in the earth to heal your body, and you're going to know how to use them. It's amazing. I mean, even my daughter, Sullivan, she tends to be she's a thinker, and sometimes she has a hard time going to sleep. And she'll get up after, she'll be in bed for 20, 30 minutes, and she'll get up and she goes, Mom, I really need some serenity. I need to calm myself. It's a blend that's like lavender and Roman chamomile and all these really calming oils.
That happened 2 nights ago when we were talking on the phone.
Yeah, I was on the phone with you.
She got out of bed and you're like, what do you need, honey? And
I need serenity, Mom.
That is hilarious.
Serenity.
She actually asked for the product itself,
she
like
did.
the actual one.
Oh yeah, and she's a very tuned in kid. I'll be talking to someone who has something physical going on, and she'll pull my arm and she goes, Mom, they really need, such and such oil. Like, she'll know what oil they need, which is so cool. She brought oil for her piano teacher who was having tennis elbow. She brought some oil into her piano class for him to put on his arm. So cool.
So when you put the oil on your skin, I guess, it's probably a good time to take a break. We should probably take a break, but I want to ask you, when you put the oil on your skin, is it kind of like a general feeling that you get, or is it, if you have, like you said, tennis elbow,
right?
People use it for acute pain. So
yes.
Maybe we'll talk about that after the break.
Good one.
We're with
yes, for sure.
Charee Balm, thathippiemom.com. The website is not actually up yet. It will be soon. It's that and HIPPIE, thathippiemom.com. And if you're listening to this in the future, it will be up soon, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
At
next
some point.
month, couple weeks.
There you go. So thathippiemom.com. This is episode 248, and we broadcast Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you'd like to join us in the chat room, you can do so, and we'll be right back after this break. Did you know that conventional dog food contains antibiotics, herbicides, pesticides, ground up carcasses from roadkill subjected to high heat processing, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, way too many carbohydrates, genetically modified corn syrups, indigestible grains, and a lack of moisture content in the dry kibble? Obviously, this can lead to health conditions like diabetes, itchy skin, teeth and gum problems, liver damage, obesity, behavioral issues, pancreatic problems, and even cancer. That's why we recommend the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw food diet from Barf World. Their unprocessed raw meats contain bone, organ meats, vitamins, and minerals that are loaded with enzymes. Barf World founder Robert Mueller explains more.
Sure, I don't have to convince you on the damage that's caused by high heat to food. So as a result, we see many skin disorders, a lot of arthritis, obesity, heart disease, cancers. I mean, it's just rampant. The vet clinics are just full of these conditions. And basically a large percentage of the commercial pet food that's made up of the human industry leftovers. And the pet food industry makes use of this waste product. And in addition to that, we are subjected to the products coming out of the rendering plants. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage to your dog, you're going to end up with garbage health. You know, if you put the right gas in, your engine runs smoother and lasts longer. So if you put the right fuel in the tank, you're going to get the right output. Garbage in, garbage out.
We've seen an immense difference with our dog Maggie being on this diet. Give your dog the gift of health today by going to extremehealthradio.com/barf or go to our store. That's extremehealthradio.com/barf to learn even more.
In today's modern world, we're surrounded by magnetic radiation, electric fields, radio waves, microwaves from our cell phones, our laptops, our computers, iPads, and even cell phone towers and power lines. These EMF frequencies damage the blood-brain barrier, they cause sleep problems, they decrease melatonin, and disturb our electric bodies. After much research, that's why we recommend a company called Less EMF. Listen to what founder Dr. Emil de Toffel has to say.
The dangers of radiation. Where do you even begin? There's many different kinds of radiation and there's many different kinds of dangers. Modern electronic devices will emit a variety of electromagnetic fields. Electric fields, magnetic fields, radio waves, and microwaves. This type of radiation has been associated with a variety of health effects, including cancers, headaches, sleeplessness, ADD, diabetes, and more. The effects seem to be cumulative, and our exposure seems to be cumulative as we're adding more and more electronic devices in our world and spending more and more time with each one. Radiation levels and the type of radiation from these devices vary, but its impact seems to accumulate in the body. So we do have shielding of a variety of different kinds. We have shielding metals to control magnetic fields, shielding canopies to put over your bed. So if you have an electromagnetic situation, we probably have a solution for it.
Protect yourself and your family today. They've got very affordable products for all of your portable devices, your home, and more. Visit extremehealthradio.com/less EMF. That's LESSEMF. Or check them out in our store to see videos. Again, go to extremehealthradio.com/less EMF.
Listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
Kate and I do this show, we can never figure out what that guy's singing about. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
If anyone would know, it would be you, because you lived in the South and you don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, huh?
Right.
It remains a mystery.
It sounds Southern, but I don't know what he's saying.
Oh my gosh, we're having a good time here with Charee Balm. Her website is thathippiemom.com. That's THATHIPPIE mom, thathippiemom.com. So it's not with the Y.
Yeah, because I figured I don't want to be like that mom with the big hips, like hippie. It's like hippie as in natural, not hippie as in big hips.
Yeah, I hear you on that. No
yeah,
one
a
really
little
wants
bit
to be
different.
known for that, but
yeah.
Good time. We're having a good time here. This is episode 248, and again, we broadcast Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. If you'd like to join us on the live show, and Before the break, we were talking about, I just had a question about putting the essential oils on like acute injuries or sore joints or something like that versus putting a couple drops on your skin for just an overall feeling of effect. Do people use them in both ways?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's 3 main ways to use them, and it would be topically, internally, and aromatically. So I'll start with topical since you're asking about that. You can put it on an acute injury or a joint pain, or if you have a stomach ache, you can put it right on your stomach. You can put it on the bottom of your feet, and it's going to absorb into your bloodstream within 30 seconds. And the cool thing, here's a really awesome fact. So let's say, Justin, your elbow's hurting you, and you put some oils that are, specifically for joint pain and inflammation on your elbow. Well, these oils are systematic, so they're going to go into your bloodstream. And let's say your knee's been hurting you as well. Well, you didn't put the oils on your knee, but all of a sudden you're going to go, I'm noticing that my knee's kind of feeling better too, because it's not only is it healing the inflammation and addressing right where you put it topically, but now it's also systematic, and it's going to actually address other inflammation and joint issues.
That's so weird. So somehow it knows, it just seeks out the inflammation in the body, different places?
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever your body needs, it's gonna utilize what's in your bloodstream systematically, because the molecular structure of the essential oil is so small, and it's lipid soluble, so it's penetrating your cells, and it can penetrate within 30 seconds. And so that's going to be, you put it on the bottom of your feet, and like I said, it's in your bloodstream within 30 seconds, and it's getting pumped throughout your body.
Wow.
Which is, it still blows my mind. It's so fascinating.
So can you put it on, like if you got a scar or something like that?
Absolutely.
To heal like that?
Yeah, you could put frankincense, melaleuca, lavender, there's a lot, helichrysum. There's so many great oils for wound healing.
What about, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to ask about the example you had with your sister when she burned herself.
Yeah, she cut her finger.
I'm sorry, she cut her finger. That
it was that
wild.
Thanksgiving, and she was cutting an onion, and I'm telling you, she sliced that pinky. Like, she should have got it, stitched, sew that sucker back on. I was like, no, wait a second, I have oils for that.
She's like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, she's very trusting.
Oh my gosh, that's
so I put lavender and frankincense on it, a little bit of coconut oil, wrapped it up, and she said in 2 days, her finger was completely fused back together and healed, completely gone.
And so what did she do? Just put the essential oil, mix it with the coconut oil, and then bandage that up?
You can do it directly. Yeah, I put a little bit of coconut oil on it just to kind of, sometimes diluting it is a good idea if it stings or anything. Wrapped it up and healed it right up.
Wow, that's crazy. There's so many uses for it, isn't there?
I mean, there's really no wrong place to put it topically except your eye.
I was just going to ask you
Don't put it in your eye.
Yeah, what happens with that?
It burns. But, I mean, other than that, there's really no wrong way to use it, that's what's amazing about it. It's not like you give this bottle to someone, they're like, what do I do? How do I use it? Am I going to do it wrong? There's no wrong way to do it.
Have you ever used the essential oils with something like DMSO, where it's like a solvent where it drives things deeper into the tissues?
Oh, that actually is a good idea. I've used it with different carrier oils and coconut oil. I haven't used it with that, but that's a good idea.
I wonder if that would be something for people. I don't know, something to think about if they have something deep within their body. I
do know that if you layer frankincense on top of any oil, that it makes it 30% more penetrating. That anytime you layer frankincense on top of anything, it's even that much more potent. Frankincense and sandalwood are the only 2 oils that have a really high concentration of sesquiterpenes, which this allows them to penetrate the blood-brain barrier.
Sesquiterpene, that's quite a word.
It is.
I like that.
Say that 10 times fast.
I want to hear you spell it.
I know, right? S-E-S-Q. I'll do it backwards. But it makes it that much more penetrating. That's why we started putting a dot before we even started talking, putting a little drop between my eyes of frankincense, because that penetrated my blood-brain barrier and it oxygenated my pineal and pituitary glands.
So how long would one of those bottles last? I guess it depends how you use it,
It depends on how you use it. I mean, I'm a pretty heavy-duty user. I'm an essential oil addict.
You're a junkie over there.
I'm a junkie. And that bottle of frankincense, let's see, there's about a quarter left of it. I've had this for 4 months.
Oh my gosh.
So you're only using a little drop. It lasts you quite a while. And shelf life of oils, this is fascinating. There's basically there's no shelf life. They last forever. It's
like honey, huh?
Yeah. You open a tomb in Egypt where they would bury people with essential oils, and those essential oils are still viable. They still have, if you store it in a cool, dark place, these are going to last forever. So it's not like, you're buying like some drug over the counter and you're like, oh, I've got to use it because it has an expiration date. Like this doesn't go bad, which is amazing.
Well, and they're stored the way they're stored in those
right.
amber bottles.
In an amber bottle.
That you, enjoy the most.
So you're talking about the 3 different ways of using. One is topical, right?
Right.
And then there's internal
and aromatic. So internally, you want to be really careful because they do penetrate cellularly. You want to be really careful about what essential oils you're using. I personally, in all my research of all the oils out there, in my own experimentation, doTERRA has been the best. They're certified pure therapeutic grade. They are completely safe to use internally. I would not go into a store, even a Whole Foods that carries decent brands. I would not go into a store and buy essential oils and take them internally, because if there's any impurity in that oil, you're introducing that right into your body, and you're bringing all of that junk, chemicals, pesticides, whatever. You're inviting that right into your cells.
I guess if I think I'm sitting here listening to you talk about that, and it makes sense because it's almost like juicing. If you juice non-organic vegetables, you could juice 12 carrots, but you can never eat that many.
Right.
So it's probably the same thing.
That much more concentrated.
You get the concentration of toxins too.
Absolutely. Right? And what I love about the doTERRA oils is their third-party testing that they do. Not only do they go into so let's take vetiver. We're talking about that. For instance, vetiver, they're going to go into India because that's where the vetiver grass is indigenous. So they're going to find organic farmer in India, and they're going to support him, teach him how to grow this. They're going to harvest it, and then everything that they harvest and the oil that's extracted, they're sending it to third-party testing. So they have 2 labs that are completely independent. They have no affiliation with this company, with doTERRA, and they're going to test it. And if there's even the slightest amount of impurity, they're throwing the whole batch out. So what you're getting is 100% just that essential oil to that plant.
And I know that it's not, you can't really speak to other companies and how they do stuff, but stuff that you would buy in the health food store, it's pretty safe. They're not doing this kind of...
Yeah. As far as I know, this is the only company that does that because they're so... it's so important to them that their product is 100% pure, because taking it internally, you want to make sure that there's nothing in it. And the reason you would take it internally would be, for instance, like autoimmune disease, like for my sister with rheumatoid arthritis, she puts frankincense in, you buy a little veggie cap, an empty one, and fill it up, and you take that internally. And so it's working more intensely to heal inflammation, and it's more of an intense way to take it. How many
drops does she take of that, do you know?
I would probably take maybe 2 pills a day that have 6 drops of frankincense in it. I do a capsule twice a day of cilantro oil because it's heavy metal detoxifying from all the stuff from the salon.
Yeah, I was going to say you and I.
Yeah, I'll hook you up with that, Kate.
Yeah, I need to hook a brother up.
So if you start craving guacamole when you're around me, like, what's that cilantro smell?
That is brilliant.
So you could take it for inflammation internally, but you have to be very careful which ones you do take.
Right.
Obviously, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so a lot of people would say, what is taking 1 drop of something? How could that really help? How could 1 drop of something be of any significance? But I guess the proof is in the pudding, because these things, it's not like essential oils just came up out of nowhere yesterday.
They've been around forever and ever and ever. I mean, you look at Egyptian hieroglyphics and Chinese manuscripts and even biblically, these oils have been around for so long. I mean, this is what the ancients, Hippocrates, this was their medicine. This is what was created on this earth for our bodies to utilize. And we've gotten so far away from it. And I'm so excited about how many people are starting to go back to that and experience like this was created for us and we've forgotten about it. And now we're going back to it and we're seeing there's a reason they gave baby Jesus frankincense.
Yeah, right. I know.
It works. There's a reason why, in James it says about going and getting anointed with oil for prayer for healing. Well, guess what? It was frankincense and it's penetrating your blood-brain barrier and it's healing. And it's not just symbolic. Like these were really healing oils. And to get back to why did we do that? It worked.
And somehow we just got off of that, didn't we?
Yeah, we really did.
I wonder why, actually, when you think about it, is that people just started thinking it was...
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the journey.
Right.
Maybe pharmaceuticals?
You think?
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but...
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I mean, it's much more, but pharmaceuticals are the same, are similar in the sense that they're highly concentrated forms of synthetic chemicals that are put together where they remove the buffering compounds. And so you have all these side effects because they remove the buffering compounds. But with essential oils, in the same way, it's very concentrated, but you're still getting all the buffering compound, all the stuff that the plant infuses into itself.
Exactly.
And so it's like a natural form, I would say, of
absolutely
pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, the pharmaceuticals are all synthetic, and like you said, they all have the side effects, and your body does not recognize these chemicals. Like just when your body eats a Twinkie, you don't recognize it. It's yuck.
Yeah.
But you go and eat something from the earth that's pure, that's been designed for your body to utilize and assimilate, and your body's going to react to it, and your body is going to be given the tools that it needs to heal itself because that's what it was designed to do.
Is using the oils aromatically just as important in your opinion?
Absolutely. And
healing?
Oh yes. And the thing that's amazing about aromatically not only is, it's healing. We've talked a lot about healing physically, which is a huge part of it, but it's also healing emotionally. So aromatically, you have two little almond-shaped glands in your limbic system called your amygdala, and these play a major role in storing and releasing emotional trauma. And through research, they found that the only way to stimulate the amygdala gland is through the olfactory system, through the sense of smell. So the nerves in your nose are sending a message to your brain and your amygdala that's releasing endorphins and serotonin, and it's
that's just amazing.
Affecting your emotions. It's affecting your mood.
So I guess the best way to affect your emotions maybe is just a sense of smell?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, have you ever smelled something that like brings a memory rushing back like nothing else can?
All of a sudden you're a kindergartner and you're like, I don't know what that is.
You smell like the glue that used to sniff in kindergarten. I'm not saying that's like releasing emotion or anything, but
there's like a glue essential oil or something.
I know.
Elmer's.
Yeah. An Elmer's blend.
I'll buy some of that.
Yeah.
Bring me back to my childhood.
But it's amazing how this can have a profound, not only physical healing, but emotional healing. I mean, you can use this to really deal with trauma, with negative emotions, with releasing that through the sense of smell, which is just, I'd like to study that more because I just think that is just fascinating.
Because it somehow has a direct connection to your brain. And like you said, what is it, amygdala?
Your amygdala. Yeah, it's a part of your limbic system. Yeah.
And that, so it seems like it would make so much sense to have the oils, because we just got a diffuser, and so we're doing it. I think, Kate, you were saying something about wanting to kill some of the bacteria in the bathroom.
Well, yeah, Charee actually turned me on to it.
Yeah.
We've had some mold growing in there, and I wasn't a big fan of that. So I've been using some actual natural kind of bacteria eating spray on the actual mold itself. And then you told me about, is it called Purity?
It's called Purify. Yeah. And it's a mix of, citronella, melaleuca, pine, lemon. And it actually, as you're diffusing it in the air, it's inhibiting the growth of mold and fungus. It's clearing out the spores that are in the air. So yeah, it's clearing out the air. And if you're like releasing emotional trauma in the shower, then bonus. I mean, who doesn't? I go in there just to do that. I just need to release everything.
I know, right? That's hilarious. So that would be, a lot of people have, live in older homes and have these problems with mold. So that would be a good
that would be a
solution.
great thing to do. And it's great when, say someone in your family gets sick and you don't want to spread that to anybody else. You can diffuse. I diffuse. It's a blend called On Guard. It's eucalyptus, rosemary, clove, wild orange. I diffuse that in the air. I put some in a amber spray bottle with purified water. Spray it on our door handles. I'm spraying it on the kids' hands. I mean, I put that on my kids before they go to school every day. It actually, this is interesting. It's antiviral. It goes in and it strips down the protein membrane on the virus. And so it can't duplicate itself. It's unable to do that without the protein covering. So this oil goes in and it keeps this virus from duplicating itself. So if you start using it the second you feel a symptom, the body is now able to kill that virus with the help of the essential oils because it can't duplicate itself.
Is that also maybe the body's more able to easily recognize the virus too if it can't? Can't. God, that's crazy.
It is. An oregano oil. I'm like rubbing that on my kids' feet. I take it internally. It's killing yeast and all that stuff, but it's also killing viruses and bacteria.
So it's like nature's and God's
absolutely
antibacterial.
Yeah.
And like what happened to that Perel stuff? I mean, why are we all, I know how far removed we are from what exists to help us naturally.
It's amazing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We haven't been to the doctor in probably 4 years that I've brought my kids to the doctor because we don't. That's part of feeling empowered. If my kid gets sick and has a virus, which is not very often because we kind of stay on top of killing those things, I have the tools that I need for their healing to happen very quickly, for their body's response to use these essential oils and to heal itself very fast.
That's so cool. And that's part of the thing, kind of what we want to do is empower people to do that. Because it's much easier to stay on top of your health.
Absolutely.
And on top of things rather than waiting till you're sick and then all of a sudden, I mean, just this last winter I had some sort of bronchitis or something. The first time I'd been sick in like 12 years. I had this cough that wouldn't go away. And I took everything. And it was just, I think eventually it was just my body got over it.
Right.
But it's just amazing how I thought I was really healthy and all this stuff. And I still couldn't get on top of that thing.
Yeah.
And so like what you're doing is so cool because you kind of introduce your kids to these oils every single day.
Right.
And so they're
a normal part of life. Yeah. Because prevention is key. It's everything through your nutrition, your exercise, and your oils and your supplements. I mean, it's really, it's all about that. And I've had a lot of people ask me, they're concerned about the cost of oils because when you buy a really pure, amazing oil that you can trust, like what I'm using, it's not super cheap. But then when you take the cost, the average American is spending over $8,000 on healthcare a year from doctor's visits.
Sheesh.
And, you go and you get your antibiotics and these things are not healing us. They're not addressing the root cause.
Right. They're just masking
They're
our symptoms,
perpetuating the sickness.
do you think they're using spending that much money on the actual antibiotics themselves, or is that like health insurance and things like that?
I think it's all inclusive. I think it's what you're spending on your copay and your insurance and I'll just give you what I'm spending on oils. And this is someone who's an essential oil junkie. Like I live and breathe these things and I'm spending, I do. I'm spending about $150 a month. That's $1,500 a year. $125 a month. $1,500 a year.
Reasonable.
And we don't get sick. We're healthy. I trust these things, and I know that not only is it now giving me the tools to heal our body physically, but what it's doing to us emotionally. I diffuse oils first thing in the morning when we wake up, and it's there's a blend called Balance. It's a grounding blend, and it seriously changes the mood of your house. If your kids are getting anxious or they're grumpy in the morning, you can diffuse those oils and put them on your kids and yourself, and it literally changes the atmosphere of your home. It's phenomenal. So not only am I addressing our healthcare, but I'm also addressing just the atmosphere in our home and our mood and our emotions. And it's so all encompassing. It's like, where do you even stop with these things?
You know what? That might be the most powerful thing of the essential oils themselves, I think, is if you can somehow get access to changing your emotions and your mood. Mm-hmm. Even if that's all you did, and then you just kind of flipped the switch off, took all the essential oils out of your house, and you just flipped the switch and got into a better mood, your emotions that carry you through the rest of the day because of that good mood are going to make you healthier.
Absolutely.
And that's not even counting what else they're doing for you.
Right.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it's all your stress and your emotions that are so linked to what your body's doing anyway. That's, the diseases and the sickness and
That's amazing. I want to ask you after the break, too, about some of the antifungal. I've heard they've got incredible antifungal, antiviral, all these kind of different properties. We're with Charee Balm, and her website is thathippiemom.com. This is episode 248, and we broadcast Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. If you'd like to join the live show, we'll be right back right after this break. If you are currently using any hair care products that contain dyes or colorings, these things can be carcinogenic. You see, anything we put on our skin, even in the shower, gets into our bloodstream and causes a toxic overload to our organs over time. That's why we only recommend Morocco Method hair care products, because they're 100% chemical-free, 100% organic, raw, vegan, and even wild-crafted and picked according to the lunar cycles. Listen to what our guest Anthony Morocco says about foaming agents in the shampoos.
Well, number one with hair care is the sodium lauryl sulfate, which is the foaming agent, which is really carcinogenic, and it's very, very toxic. So that's number one, and so they're so afraid of it. The industry has made 38 different names for it. They've created cocamide, they've created coconut, they've created palm oil, but anything that foams is sodium lauryl sulfate. So I would say that you really need to read your ingredient lists. And if you cannot pronounce the word, it's made in a laboratory.
So would even organic hair care products that foam, would those be damaging as well?
Yes. Organic really today is not what it used to be. So it's just the word. It really, to me, is not reality. If you want a real product, you want to look at Wild Craft.
As a former hairstylist, I love Anthony's products. If you'd like to have truly healthy and luxurious hair, no matter what your texture, go to extremehealthradio.com/MM for Morocco Method, or see it in our store. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/MM to learn even more.
If you have any digestive problems whatsoever, I highly recommend getting a squatty potty that sits right underneath your toilet. Squatty potties help give relief from constipation and bloating, hemorrhoids and straining, IBS, pelvic floor, and bladder issues. See, as humans, we are designed to squat when we eliminate, and when we sit on a toilet, that angle kinks and pinches off the puborectalis muscle in your colon, and the squatty potty opens the colon to eliminate more quickly and completely. Listen to what Daniel Vitalis has to say about that.
One of the reasons I love to promote the idea of the squat toilet is because, for a couple of reasons. One, there's a ligament that wraps around your colon that prevents you, when you're in the seated position, from being able to have an effective bowel movement. But that ligament's loosed when we're in a full squat. So people are fighting their own body to defecate this way. Now, in the rest of the world, people defecate in the squat. Use a squat toilet. I'm so big on this. I've got a video on my website about that. But I really believe that it's important we start to actually defecate in an anatomically correct position. So, nobody sits on chairs to defecate except people in the West. And we have more rectal and bowel problems than anybody, more constipation than anybody. But this actually puts our body in a disadvantageous position for trying to go to the bathroom. So if you don't have a squat toilet or don't want to invest in one, I don't know, stack some books up. But get something where you can actually squat up above the toilet, or at least get your knees up higher.
Justin and I love our squatty potty. Start improving your digestion and elimination today by going to extremehealthradio.com/squat, or see it in our store. Again, go to extremehealthradio.com/squat and watch the video to learn more.
Free. All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
We joke about that all the time, don't we? That we're going to someday run over Maggie in our studio here.
and we will. Poor little thing. She's so tiny.
Oh my gosh, she's 10 pounds. Amazing. This is episode 248. We're having a great time here with Charee Balm from thathippiemom.com. And you can join us Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific if you'd like to join the live show and be a part of the show that way. You can also send us emails, Justin at extremehealthradio.com.
Kate, at extremehealthradio.com.
And so before the break, I was kind of curious about the antiviral, antifungal. I've heard these things are just incredible.
Yeah.
Anti-everything.
There's a lot of antis, but it's all good stuff.
You want to be anti the bad stuff.
Yeah, anti the bad stuff. Yeah, I mean, all the oils are going to be antibacterial, antifungal, anti-tumor, anti-cancer, antimicrobial. I mean, there's so many, and they're each going to carry, one of them will have more of these properties than another. Like oregano, for example, is very, very strongly antiviral. So when you're sick, that's the one you're going to go to. So they each are kind of for specific things, but they all do carry similar properties to them.
I took oregano a while back, and I think I did. I'm not sure what I don't even know what it was. I think it was some kind of oil. But that stuff is so powerful.
Oh yeah, you only really want to put oregano on your feet, or maybe dilute it a lot with coconut oil to put it on your skin. I take it internally or put it on my feet because it's really potent.
That's good to know because it was pretty caustic. I was putting it on my thumb for a while with some issues I had, and that thing was like,
I would take it internally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
I felt like it was just overpowering. Well, and that was until Justin spilled half a bottle on the floor.
Oopsie.
And our whole house smelled like oregano for probably 4 months.
It's a pizzeria.
Completely.
That was just so, it was so caustic. And I took it, I think I did some drops in a capsule.
Yeah.
And even doing it that way, it was just so
you can feel it.
I could burp it up.
Yeah.
And feel it all day. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Going to the anti-tumor property, I'll tell you a little story about my husband. He's a believer. He's been converted to essential oils.
He wasn't at the beginning?
Well, he knows that I'm the one who kind of does the original kind of research and like, oh, honey, check this out that I've discovered. And I'm always discovering something new. So, of course, when I discovered essential oils, he's like, oh, all right, what do we got going here? So he has had a cyst on, honey, I'm so sorry. It's on his butt cheek. I'm just going to say it. If he listens to this, I love you.
This show is pretty much like that every week.
Yeah, okay.
You never know what's going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah, he's got a cyst on his booty. And it's always been there. It's kind of grown a little bit, but, nothing where it's cancerous or he really needs to get aggressive with it. And so here I am thinking that I'm the only one who's really excited about the oils and using it. And he tells me, he goes, all right, okay, so fill the cyst. And I feel it, and there's barely anything there. I mean, this went from the size of, maybe the size of an almond, a little bit bigger, to it's like hardly anything there, like a pea. I'm like, what? Wow. And how did that happen? He goes, well, I've been putting frankincense on it for 2 weeks. I'm like, what? Why didn't you tell me? He's like, well, I just kind of want to see. He had to do his own experimentation.
They can never trust. It's like the husband can never trust the wife, and the wife can never trust the husband.
Exactly. You can't take their word for it. You got to prove it.
It seems to be how everybody works, though. Wow. So he was doing that? He was a closet frankincense user.
Yes. He is totally a believer now. He put the frankincense on his cyst, and it completely shrunk the size of it. It's amazing.
How often did he do it, and how much?
I think he was probably every morning and every night, just, tipping the bottle with his finger on it. So you get a little bit on your finger and just putting it right on the spot. And I think he was putting a little bit of lavender on with it. And within 2 weeks, it was at least half the size, if not less.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm wondering about in cysts that are more internal. Like I have a tiny one in my left breast up on my armpit, and it's like really in there, but I can feel it. I wonder if that would do anything for...
Definitely. I would rub frankincense and I would take it internally. Yeah, it's amazing. I know I talk about frankincense a lot. It's probably the most anti-cancer. It actually goes in and stimulates the cancer cells. It generates the apoptosis of the cancer cells are dying and new cells are regenerating. It's killing the cancer cells. It's great for dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, because it does penetrate. Yes, exactly. So sandalwood and frankincense, it's so healing. But I love the anti-cancer properties, and I met a lot of people this weekend who are cancer survivors. They had months to live. I mean, these people were on their deathbed, and they, as well as with their nutrition and changing that, they also started a really aggressive regimen of essential oils, and they experienced healing, and they're still around. Not only are they still around, but they are healthy.
I wonder what the protocol would be. Is there a place where people can go to figure out, like, let's say, someone's listening and they have like a skin cancer, or someone else could have like a lymphoma, so it's completely different?
Right. There's going to be different oils that are specific for each ailment, and I'm planning on my website to address some of that, but there's also an amazing website. It's everythingessential.me, M-E, and you can click on your health concern, and it will give you a description of your health concern, and it'll give you the protocol of exactly what oils that you can use and how often to use them, how to use them, whether it's internally, topically. It really breaks it down. And that's been an amazing reference for me when, someone comes up and is like, I've got such and such. What do I do about this? It's a great tool to use. Yeah, I'm looking at the website. So I clicked on health concerns, and it has it looks like A through Z. Mm-hmm. That is really cool. And then how to apply the oils. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Right. You can click where, it gives you a description of whatever ailment you've clicked on, say it's Hashimoto's, and then you can click on the protocol, or you can go specifically to the oil and learn all about the actual oil that you're using. It's definitely this is actually really amazing, really good resource, because like you said, it breaks it down, because a lot of people don't have the knowledge of how to use the oil, right? But then they you want to order oil, but you're like, where do I start? What do I use? And there are some basic oils that you want to just have in your house all the time, but then if you have a specific ailment that you want to address, this is a great place to go and really learn what oil you need before you go in and order the oils. Well, this is pretty wild. I'm looking at this too, and it's like everything from, alcoholism to cysts to dealing with change. Yeah. So it's like, because it's emotional too. Exactly. Yeah. Talk about covering the whole gamut here. Absolutely. Yeah. It's whole body. It's mind, body, spirit. It's all connected. You can't address the physical without addressing the emotional and spiritual aspect too. Wow. This is a really cool website. Yeah. Where did you find this? Just through fellow doTERRA and essential oil users. This is a resource that we've all been using to kind of help us do wellness consults with people. That's awesome. Yeah. So with essential oils, I had on my list to ask you, because I've heard this so many times. Is it essential, and is it an oil? Like, is it... Yeah, it's not an oil in the sense of like a coconut oil, or, you could spill this on your clothes and it wouldn't stain like an oil would. It's actually the aromatic compound in the plant. It's lipid soluble, but it's not necessarily like a fatty, oily complex. So it's in a liquid that is, I guess, really thin, like water. Yeah, some of them, like vetiver, is a little bit thicker and gummy, and some of them are very thin. It depends on the plant, really. So I'm so curious, how do they make these oils? So if they take, like, let's say they take all these rose right. Heads, what do they do with them? What is that? It depends. It depends on the plant. Some of them are cold pressed, and some of them are steam distilled. Like with frankincense, it's actually a boswellia tree. It's the sap that pours out, which is so cool. It comes out white, and then they take the sap and they dry it, and it turns into resin. And then they take that resin and they turn that into, through steam distillation, they extract the aroma properties, the essential oil of the plant, or of the resin, specifically with frankincense.
Well, that sounds easy.
Yeah, no big deal. You got a boswellia tree in the back.
Who doesn't have a boswellia tree?
But what's so cool is that, so for instance, their frankincense, the boswellia tree that they're extracted from, is actually from Oman, which is where the boswellia tree is indigenous. So not only is it now 100% absolutely pure, able to be ingested, but it's also grown in a place where it's indigenous, which is going to make its properties even more potent, even more healing. Like their lemons they're getting from Italy, the lavender they're getting from France, and it's all grown in its specific region.
Now that's true, obviously, of doTERRA, the company that you believe in, but that's not probably true.
They're the only company that does that I know of.
Oh my gosh, you could go to Whole Foods and get some lemon oil from Las Vegas trees.
Yeah, that could
probably
be grown.
Right?
Yeah, it who knows where it's grown?
Is that really what's going on? Is that they get stuff from just really low level locations? And
absolutely, which is amazing because they're going into that village and they're building an economy for these people. They're helping them financially by using their oils, and they're also getting the very best available in the world, which is it goes so far beyond anybody's expectation. It's amazing to me, the integrity of it.
That's just it sounds like such a great thing for people to do. So what would be a good place for someone to start? Like what essential oils would someone want to use if they feel pretty healthy?
I'll give you kind of the 5 basic starters. Like here's what a family would want to have in their home. So I would do lavender, lemon, peppermint, melaleuca, and oregano. Lavender, it's calming. It's amazing to soothe colicky babies, to soothe children, and soothe husbands, and
get out of control.
Yeah, they can have temper tantrums too. It's great for irritated skin. It's antibacterial. You could put it on cuts. Lemon, it's really cleansing. It's a mood elevator. It's also an antioxidant and a detoxifier. So I put lemon in my water every morning. It balances the acidity levels in your body.
Like a lemon drop?
Lemon drop. Yeah.
Of the oil.
Of essential oil. Yeah. And it comes from the lemon rind, not actually the lemon juice. It's the oil from the outside of the lemon. And it's detoxifying your system. It's an antioxidant. It's balancing your alkaline acidity levels.
Do you do that can you do it with, obviously you can do it anyway. Do you personally do it with room temp water, or do you make like a hot tea?
I do room temp just because I prefer room temp water, especially for liver detoxification. Right. And I also make a countertop spray with lemon, with purified water. I spray it on my countertop and it smells great and it's killing bacteria.
I was going to ask you about that. So you use it to kill bacteria.
Absolutely.
That's on your tabletops.
I make my own facial products, and I make my own cleansers with essential oils.
That's really good to know, because I know women are, a lot of women, especially that listen to this show and other shows like
we could do a whole segment just on skincare with essential oils. It's amazing. Another of the top 5, peppermint, is great for indigestion. It's great for reducing fevers. It's great for headaches. If you have a stomach ache, my husband was getting a stomach ache, like, oh no, I'm getting the flu. He drank, probably 3 drops of peppermint, just chugged it in some water. He literally said within 30 seconds, he felt 100% fine.
So every now and then I get a little indigestion sometimes. Would you put it on your stomach and then also take it in as well?
You could do both. Yeah. It's all about, and this is where it's empowering, it's experimentation. You find what works for you and for your body, and there's no wrong way to do it, except don't put it in your eyes, Justin. Just don't do that.
I'll be watching him.
I'll do my best, because I will. I'll try it.
And he'll try anything. That's a scary thing about him. Yeah.
Melaleuca is another great one to have around.
Is that actually tea tree oil?
It's tea tree. Yeah, that's what Melaleuca is. It's just, it sounds fancier to say Melaleuca.
It sounds very French,
doesn't it? It's a great first aid ointment. My older daughter has hyperhidrosis, where her feet sweat a lot, which creates a breeding ground for athlete's foot and fungal. And we've tried everything. I even went to a podiatrist who's like, put formaldehyde on your kid's foot. That'll help. Like,
she's not a cherry that goes on a sundae.
Yeah. Crazy.
Are you kidding? Formaldehyde?
Mm-hmm. It's called Formidon. And I said, would that be a form of formaldehyde? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'll see you later. We're out.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So we've been putting Melaleuca on her feet, and her feet totally healed using that. And then oregano would be another top 5 to have in your house, just because, helping with any kind of sickness. These are just kind of the basic 5 that everybody could use. I would go a step further and say frankincense is amazing because it's just my favorite thing of all time.
So if someone got these 5, how much do you think that would cost them?
I would say...
What are they looking at per month, do you think? Like $100 a month or more than that?
Probably not even $100 a month with all 5 of these. And that's the great thing about what I'm doing with the oils, selling them. Yes, they're available retail, but you can also go and sign up for a membership. So you're receiving the oils at a wholesale price. It's 25% off what you would pay retail. So if you're going to be an essential oil user, which I guarantee you, if you use it once, you're sold, you're hooked.
Yeah.
And it makes so much more sense
for people like you.
They do.
You've gotten me hooked now.
They do. I know.
I never thought.
So it's great to be able to get them wholesale, and they even have programs where you can earn points back on your product. So now I have free products coming to me. So there's a really cost-effective way to do it, and you're replacing the over-the-counter stuff that you have. I actually do a workshop called a medicine cabinet makeover, and I'm talking about all the stuff that you have over the counter. These are all the side effects from it. Here's the top oils, the main oils that you can replace in your medicine cabinet. And it's actually, when you add it up dollar per dollar, it's cheaper to replace everything with essential oils than it is to have, to have your athlete's foot cream and to have your Pepto-Bismol and to have all the things.
It goes on and on and
exactly. Your throat lozengers. And it's cheaper to do it essential oils, and it's actually more effective, and there's no side effects. So it really is cost effective to do it that way.
So someone could get these and use them, and then let's say they had the 5 bottles of the oils, that could last them a few months, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's not like they would have to buy that every single month.
No, you would not have to.
Cool.
Yeah. It depends on how avid of a user you want to be. It's totally your call.
It's so weird because you look at these little bottles.
I know.
They're so
They're only
small.
15 milliliters.
15 milliliters. How much is that? Half an ounce?
Yeah, I believe so.
And it's and because you use just drops at a time.
Yeah, it's lasting a long time.
Do you ever use these in different recipes and things?
Absolutely. In fact, you have wild orange in your hand right now. I make I take coconut milk and whip it into like whipped cream, and I put wild orange essential oil in it and dip strawberries in it. You can cook with these. You can cook with cilantro. They have a lime oil, lemon oil. You can put these in your food.
Does it damage to expose the oils to high heat like that? Or
when you're using the oils in high heat, their properties aren't going to be as potent, but they're still powerful. But you're right. Once you expose an oil to really high heat, it is going to change some of the properties of the oil.
More importantly, when are we coming over for dinner tonight? What time?
I know.
Can you make us some lime, lemon, chicken, and
definitely?
So you can cook with these and put them in your smoothies, and you can make different oils. Like you can mix it with coconut oil. And
I make lotions with them. I make an anti-cellulite lotion with coconut oil and cypress and grapefruit. It's amazing. I'll let you know this summer how it works.
Wow.
Yeah, I think every woman in America and globally would love to know how that
works.
Wow. Is that something like with that sort of a thing where you would probably want to apply daily to get a real read on the experiment?
Yeah, I mean, it's my everyday lotion that I use. Yeah. Yeah.
So what are the strongest oils, do you think? What are the most potent oils? Would it be the oregano that you talked about, or are there ones that are just so
as far as being
strong?
Potent, like how you would use them topically? I would say oregano oil, they have a heat to them. Cinnamon and cassia are also going to have some heat to them. I would not put that directly on your skin. I would dilute it or put it on the bottom of your feet. Your bottom of your feet are a very safe place, especially if you're putting it on a baby or children whose skin is a little bit more sensitive. bottom of the feet is a great way to do it. You can always dilute, but bottom of the feet is a safe place.
So bottom of the feet for any oil.
For any oil. It's
Even
the
if
most
it's
porous
strong.
part of your body,
Okay.
and it's soaking it up into your bloodstream really quickly.
Wow. So cinnamon, you said? Is there...
Cinnamon, cassia, oregano, clove can have a little heat to it. Ginger will have a little heat to it. Peppermint has got a bite, but it's cooling. It's not... You feel it. You feel it, though. You can feel it, like, penetrating.
I'm so sorry. I have to tell you a very quick story about peppermint.
Yeah.
So about 4 years ago, this is too great. A friend of mine at Christmas time, one of my clients, gave me a bottle of peppermint schnapps, to put in your cocoa and stuff. And I brought it home, set it on the counter. Well, about 3 days later, I forgot it was there. I opened something real quick, and the bottle went flying and hit the ground, right?
Oh, no.
And barefoot in the kitchen, the bottle broke into 1,000 million pieces, right? And so I'm like, oh gosh, I'm standing on the floor with glass surrounding my feet, burning in peppermint oil. That stuff,
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
like what was it, like a vodka? I mean, what was it, like a peppermint? I don't know what schnapps is, but my feet felt like they were on fire for like 4 days. I had to jump onto the kitchen counter.
Oh my gosh.
And rinse off my feet and then shimmy over and get out of the room because it was all over the place. And I was like, that is the power
That's
of oil.
hilarious.
I mean, it felt like I could breathe clear for like a year.
Your sinuses were clear. You smell like a candy cane for a year.
Totally did. But I thought that stuff is it packed a punch. I had never been so exposed to and I'm sure, it wasn't like the essential oil factor, but it was strong stuff.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Wow. That's funny.
Yeah, but I'm
it's potent.
What do you, I don't know what was worse, the glass or the oil, or the peppermint. But it was pretty funny
strong.
situation.
This is pretty cool. A little thing I found here on that website that you mentioned, everythingessential.me, for bloating. I know a lot of people have problems with that. Oils and blends, Digest Zen.
Oh, that stuff's amazing.
Lemon E. What is and then Peppermint C, Slim and Sassy.
Slim and Sassy, I'm sorry. I love you, doTERRA. I hate that name. Slim and Sassy. It's actually a metabolic blend. It's, I think it's like, cinnamon, wild orange, peppermint, grapefruit, and, it's great for your metabolism, for balancing it, and it's detoxifying. It's great for your stomach. It's the name's misleading because people think, oh, it's a diet supplement. It's not. You can have those effects because it is a metabolic blend, but it's specifically for detoxifying. But Digest Zen is amazing if you have a stomach ache or indigestion, or my aunt has really, really, really bad acid reflux. She's a beautiful singer, and she's had so much scar tissue that she's not able to sing like she used to. And I put her on Digest Zen and peppermint. And my mom actually told me yesterday, I saw her on Mother's Day, and she said, I meant to tell you, Aunt Margaret said that all of her symptoms have subsided and she feels great for the first time in years. It really, really helps. It's an amazing blend. It's, it's fennel, and it's all of those, stuff that you would like ginger and peppermint that you would use for an upset stomach.
Real calming.
It's great for morning sickness.
Oh.
So what would you take if you had an upset stomach with Digest Zen? Would you take a couple drops internally?
You can do either. With my kids, they probably don't so much love the taste of fennel. I happen to love fennel personally.
I do too, which is so funny.
Black licorice lovers unite.
Right. Completely. Woo-hoo.
I put it on their stomach. I rub it right on, and that takes the nausea and the stomach ache away. Or you can take it, if you've got food poisoning or stomach flu or acid reflux that's intense, I'd put a couple drops in water and drink it. It's kind of sweet. It's fennel. It tastes pretty sweet.
We have a question actually in the chat room.
All right.
From
let's do it.
Charisse. That's very close to your name.
Charee, hi.
She said, I heard Ceylon, is that what it is? Ceylon cinnamon is the best, and cassia cinnamon might have adverse effects on the body. Have you heard this?
I haven't heard that. That's interesting. And that goes back to finding what works for you and being empowered and finding, some people maybe have a great reaction to cassia and maybe some people don't. And that's the beauty of muscle testing. And that's the beauty of trying it and seeing what works for you.
So what is the carrier oils? It says here there's a thing about carrier oils. Do you need to use those all the time?
No, you absolutely don't. I would use a carrier oil if I want to spread the oil, if I want to cover more of my body. I would put it in like a fractionated coconut oil or an almond oil. So you're covering more. Or if it is more of a potent oil and you're using it on sensitive skin, then, for like a child or a baby, I would dilute it with fractionated coconut oil.
What is that? Fractionated coconut oil? It's coconut oil that's not solid at room temperature. It stays liquid, but you could use hemp oil. You could use almond oil. Your organic oil of choice.
The world is your oyster.
That's right.
When it comes to that. I had a question too. I've been hearing a lot about this aroma touch therapy. What exactly is it?
That's amazing. In fact, I'm going next month to get certified. Oh. I'm so excited.
Are you doing it? You're pulling the trigger?
I'm doing it. Nice. And I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, tell me about that.
You know what? It actually, I did a little class on it at the seminar this weekend, and it reminded me a little bit of NST, of the neurostructural integration I was telling you about. But it works with the body's meridians. Now, not only are you working with the body's meridian, it's kind of a soft touch, more massage feel to it, but you're also incorporating the oils and you're using them in a specific sequence. So you're layering them to make one more potent than the other as you're layering them. They're first addressing, external inflammation, then internal inflammation, and then it's calming. And they were showing some videos. There was a boy who, he was in an accident. I believe it was a boating accident, and was a quadriplegic. He was 16 years old. And after 2 weeks of being in the hospital, his grandmother was introduced to essential oils and brought this woman in who did aroma touch. And she did aroma touch on the boy. And after the third time, you end with peppermint. And after the third time, he said, "I don't like the way that peppermint's feeling in my feet." And they all looked at each other like, what? Like, you're not supposed to feel anything in your feet. He could feel it. And she taught the grandmother how to do aroma touch. Anyone can learn to do it. And this boy, this is now, I think, 2 years later, he is 90% back to feeling, and he's on the road to learning to walk again. It's powerful. It's amazing. Even if you have something as little as a cold, it's immune boosting. It's just sending your body's response into healing mode, and it's supporting all those healing properties in your body by all the way the oils are layered. And
my whole body literally has chills right now.
I know, me too. It's electric talking about it. Yeah. It's amazing. And even with emotional trauma, this is the woman who is a aroma touch, certification. It's what she does mainly. She said, I've had people who come in who their demeanor is, they're angry people. They're just carrying stress and anger, and they're depressed. And she said, I have people during their aroma touch therapy who start weeping or start laughing. Or, once again, that goes back to the sense of smell and the release of emotional trauma. And she said a woman had come over to her house, and she has a son. She walked in a very angry, just her countenance was down. You could see it all over her body language. And she had an aroma touch session, and she left. And the boy said, "What happened to the woman who just came in? That wasn't the same person." And the mom said, no, that was the same lady. But she had been so changed by the effects of not only the oils, but the way they were applied to her body, that her countenance was so different. She looked different.
Wow.
It's really amazing. So I cannot say enough about the power of aroma touch, and I cannot wait. Will you be my guinea pig? Can I come?
Can I? I would love to be the guinea pig.
Okay, good.
Because I've heard about it. We've heard about it for about a year with our friend Pastor Nar. He does aroma touch therapy, and he took it a level deeper too. We didn't really get into much we've talked to him a few times on the phone. We didn't ask him really what it was, but I kind of got the gist of it. He also purchased one of those biomats that we have, and took his clients to a whole other level, because then you have healing quartz crystals and tourmaline.
That would be amazing.
Talk about layering. I mean, this thing could take people to,
I don't think you'd ever get me up. I think I would just live there.
That's what we said. We're like, if they don't, make sure they have a pulse by the time they start driving, right?
That's a great idea.
It's pretty wild, but I thought, wow, the power to be able to take these therapies to the next level on
Absolutely.
It's just amazing what God put on the earth to be able to to heal, because
Right.
we're all such fragile people.
And to
with a
help
lot
each
of-
other. That your heart
Absolutely.
is to, here's what I have learned. Here's what's empowered my life and what I know. And I want to help other people. My heart is because I care and not just, you know what I mean? Just trying to get somebody on it just to build your business. But really, I just really have a heart for people who are hurting physically, who are hurting emotionally, and really share with them my journey and what I've learned and what I've experienced, you know, and we all need to be doing that with each other.
It's pretty cool. I'm looking at the site here. They have the whole thing for autism.
Yes.
I mean, autism is, we just learned recently that what was the stat that in 2020 there's going to be more autistic children than there are non-autistic children, something like that. We went to go hear
scary.
Dr. Bergman speak up in Huntington Beach, and he was giving some stats, and it's just frightening.
It is.
What's going on. And there's a whole suggested protocols with balance, frankincense. I don't even know how to say this word.
Helichrysum?
Look at that. There you go.
There you go.
In tune, lavender, and then marjoram.
Marjoram.
Marjoram, sandalwood, and vetiver. But just amazing what you can do.
It really, really makes a difference. It really does. Even people with epilepsy have had amazing, profound effects using essential oils. And I mean, there's really nothing that it won't affect. Do you know what I mean? There's really nothing you can think of that won't have an oil that goes with it.
You know what's funny is I think that most people like myself, until you really learn this, you think oil's too simple.
Right.
It's almost like it's right in front of your face. That can't work. It's too simple. Like we have to come up with something so intense because my problem's so, severe or whatever. And I mean, there are times and places for, to dig deeper, but in general, I mean, like you said, this stuff only adds to the healing, if not might complete a healing in somebody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It enhances what you've already been doing.
And you know what I like too is it's cool because a lot of protocols, like I don't know if you're familiar with MMS. We took that a while back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking that.
Oh man, and it's so strong. I mean, it's similar to this. I was taking 1 or 2 drops a day, and it's just wiping me out. But what I like about this is that you can, like you said, someone can get started and just rub a little bit on their hand each day, and then they can just sort of get into how it smells, how it makes them feel. And the fact that there's no real wrong way other than putting in your eyes is just such a cool thing because it lowers the barrier of entry. You can't make a mistake.
Right. And it's so progressive, your use of it. Say you start with lavender and you're like, it smells so good. I feel so calm at night. This is working. I wonder what else works. Yeah. And then to find a resource like everythingessential.me that tells you, okay, you've got a skin condition, try this. And it's so, once you have an experience with it, you really, it just goes from there. It just builds upon itself.
You start realizing that you could use it because you would think that, someone with autism, you wouldn't think essential oils.
Right. That would not be your first thought.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But when you start using them and you see how powerful they are, like you just said, you start realizing, wow. Then you start looking for things that essential oils could probably fix, right?
Right.
You start looking for things in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what essential oils could help a 10-pound crazy wiener dog, right? She needs some help.
Oh, let's put some vetiver on Maggie.
Yeah. Let's put it in her eyes. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But I know you mean it. It starts to, you start to look at things around your household differently. You start
Absolutely.
to, when you get a little tickle in your throat, I'm like, you wonder, you just treat it different knowing you have a quote medicine cabinet waiting for you to experiment
it's your go-to.
with.
It's the first thing I go to. It's the first thing I do in the morning. It's the first thing I think of when something doesn't feel right. It's the first thing my kids think of.
Clearly.
It's a natural response and a go-to because it works and it really has changed our life and it's really empowered and changed our family.
Is there a difference between like a nebulizer and a diffuser? Because we have a nebulizer and we basically were nebulizing silver and we would do crushed garlic, a couple drops of that, and breathe that in. Is there a difference between, do you know, a nebulizer and a diffuser?
I'm not totally, I don't know that I've used a nebulizer. I know with diffusers there's different, you kind of get what you pay for. There's different grades of it. You don't want to use heat. You want to use a cold diffuser, but there's ones that they'll have the metal plate in it that'll be atomizing. So they're going to make the molecular structure in the air even smaller. So it's more penetrating. But diffusing it, in anything is going to be beneficial. But that's a good question. The nebulizer versus the diffuser.
What do you use to sleep? Do you have a diffuser going at night?
I do. At night, around the kids' bedtime, around 7:30, we're doing bath time with a little Serenity in the bath, which is that mix of lavender and Roman chamomile and just these beautiful smells. And then I like to diffuse a blend of vetiver, lavender, and wild orange. And so that's kind of diffusing in the house. I'm turning the lights down. The kids are reading at that point. And don't get me wrong, I'm kind of painting a picture of like, my kids are angels. I have a very normal house, okay?
Yeah, they have their moments.
That's why I need the oils. But yeah, it's super calming. And then my husband and I, we both, I'll put Serenity on my wrist. I put vetiver on my neck last night. I even used cedarwood. I put cedarwood on my occipital points on my head a couple nights ago because I was really, my brain was a churning and I needed some rest, and that was really calming. So there's so many things that you can utilize for a really, really good night's sleep, which is one of the cornerstones of good health. Sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And what do we have a diffuser. We do that while we sleep, right? And what is that?
We do. We put lavender. That's the only thing we're just delving into the world. So we'd love to be able to start mixing things.
I know. I'm like, I can hook you up.
You know what I feel like this is like when we discovered smoothies. It's like, what combination can I make today?
It is. And it's really finding your favorite scents to put together. And everyone's got their favorite combo. And you'll find, like, I had never used vetiver before. I'm like, what the world is that? And I got it in my last shipment and I diffused it, and I happened to be writing at the time. I was sitting at the computer and I had my diffuser next to me, and I had a physical and an emotional response. Like, I felt it. Like, my brain just clicked, and I felt like I was like, where am I getting these ideas? And it really had a profound effect on me. And so it's fun to kind of discover different things. What works for you? What does your body react to?
Are there different reactions you can have? Like, can you mix oils together like you do recipes?
Yes.
I guess with recipes, it's more of a big deal, I guess, because you're tasting the food and you like it or don't. But with the oils, you can mix anything together?
There's no wrong way to do it. There is a better right way to do it. There are certain molecular structures and constituents that complement each other. And that's what I love about the blends that doTERRA has. Is they've done the science for you, and they've put the oils together that enhance each other's effects.
Okay.
But there's no wrong way to blend either. You can take your favorite scents and blend them and make your own concoction. But there are some that their structure goes better together.
So with doTERRA, you can buy the individual oils themselves, but then you can also buy
correct.
blends.
You can buy the blends where they've put it together for you. Or you can buy your own, and some of them I blend together. I buy a little, glass container with a roller, and I'll put, certain oils in it that I am using at the time. Like I have a thyroid blend, and you roll it right on your thyroid. I'll put the ones together that work for that particular thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. It's funny too how when I was over at your house and we were looking through the oils and things that, it's just like any perfume, different oils will smell different on different people because your body chemistry. And I also think it's funny that some people might hate the smell of something, yet they're so drawn to something else.
Isn't
it's
that,
like you could be in the same household and somebody be like, "That's a disgusting smell," and the other person's like, "What angel walked in the room?" I mean,
I know.
It's just, we're
I
all
hope no
so
one thinks
different.
my house smells disgusting, but
I think your house smells amazing.
Yeah, it all, you respond differently to different oils for sure.
What was the name of that oil? What was that when we were in high school and those hippie kids would have the...
It's patchouli.
Is that what it was?
Patchouli's the bomb. I love that stuff.
That's
but
so funny.
Some people hate it.
Because they would have the dreadlocks, remember?
I know.
They would walk by and you'd smell them, forever.
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
Well,
yeah.
And that's where your website name came from, didn't it? You still
have a thing for the patchouli. I still like patchouli. I don't have the dreadlocks or the shaved head, but I do have patchouli.
You might be, don't put it past you one day.
One day.
I don't know if your husband would like that very much.
Yeah.
So if people are interested in supporting you and buying the oils through you, how do they go about doing that until your website's up? Or
what you can do right now is you can email me. It's Charee Balm at mac.com. That's ChareeBalm at mac.com. Please feel free to email me. I love helping people. I will respond to your email, even if you give me a specific, this is something I'm struggling with. What can I do for this? I'll send you a protocol, and I can help you to get hooked up with how to either buy retail or a membership price, however much you think you're going to use these oils in your life. And then when my website is up and running, hopefully in the next 2 weeks to a month, then I can refer you to that as well. And I'll have a Facebook page and, the whole gamut.
Yeah. So if people want to learn, because I'm just trying to think, like for someone like me, if I wanted to learn how to use the oils, your website will be a good resource for that.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it will be blog style. I'm going to have some videos on there. I'm going to have a lot of, look up your ailment and this is what you use. This is how you use it. A lot of that kind of information. And then also joining the team. I'm all about teaching other people so that then they can pay it forward and pass it on and empower other people. And someone like myself who has decided this is my life's passion and I want to do this for a living as a business. If this is your life's passion, I will empower you and teach you how to do that.
Do you think we'll ever get off the pharmaceuticals?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. I really do. And that's why we got to get the word out there and empower other people and live it.
Yeah.
Because when they live it and they see it making a difference in your life, they're going to want it. And
the time to start is now. If you're relatively healthy, I mean, most people have certain things they're dealing with, even younger people, have certain little ailments or things they're working on. But the time is now. If you're young and you feel good and you start learning about this stuff, the time is now. Because if you take care of yourself your whole life, you're never going to need those pharmaceuticals.
Don't wait until you're symptomatic to figure out what you need. It's prevention. It's living it day to day.
Yeah, the prevention. So you got to be excited about your site. It's going to be coming in next probably a month or something, but it sounds like there's going to be some cool things on there.
I'm really excited. I am. I got some work to do. Got some writing to do.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So thathippiemom.com and people will be able to find you. You'll have a Facebook page and all that.
Yeah. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, I'm on it.
I just have to say it's so neat to see you and just so entrenched in something you are so passionate about. And kudos to you for stepping outside the box like we are. I mean, it's so hard to take that risk, and I commend you for following the harder road. I mean, you're taking the road less traveled, and it's just an inspiration. That alone is an inspiration to people.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, you didn't foresee this a year ago.
Oh my gosh.
If you
would have told me that I would be doing this at some point in my life, I'd be like, you crazy. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That it changes your life, and you can't stop talking about something that has been so powerful in your life,
That's
can't help myself.
Well, you're doing it beautifully, and I love your heart for people, and thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. So let's give your email address out one more time.
Charee Balm. It's ChareeBalm at mac.com.
Okay, Charee Balm at mac.com. Good stuff. And then when your website is up, it'll be thathippiemom.com.
Yes, hippie with an IE.
HIPPIE. That's awesome. Well, thank you for being on.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
So now are you going to go home and experiment with more essential oils? Or?
Of course. Got them all over the place.
Do you have them in your car too?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got them everywhere.
So that she has like an emergency travel pack.
I do. I've got like a kit in my purse. I carry my peppermint because I hate gum, and you need a little breath freshener. I got my peppermint. They're all over the place.
Awesome. So I wonder if you could use them to get rid of the new car smell, because that new car smell is very toxic.
It's the chemicals that are smelling that way. Absolutely, you can.
To get rid of the smell?
Yeah, just spritz some Purify, some On Guard, some lemon. Yeah.
Wow.
Spritz it in your car. You can get a little travel diffuser. Yeah. Wow. Just don't hang those little trees that smell in your rearview mirror.
Besides the fact that I think they're so ugly.
They're horrible. I can't even walk past a place that has a synthetic smell now without getting physically nauseous.
It's pretty gnarly.
It is.
I was at a little birthday party for my niece the other day, and there was some scratch and sniff stickers. And
Don't
like this
scratch the sticker.
It was horrible. I'm like, this is at a kid's toy store. This stuff is so toxic. It's just so... We've come so far removed from...
We should do essential oil scratch and sniff.
We should.
How cool would that be? Essential oil kids scratch and sniff.
Can you imagine?
That'd be awesome.
Here's
all right.
the lavender.
You'll find that on thathippiemom.com.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, things to come. Things to come.
I know, right? That's awesome. All right, so this is episode 248, and if you want to find Charee, learn more about her, thathippiemom.com. And again, we broadcast 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate your time today, and for all of you in the chat room, really appreciate that, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even as you educate yourself in the field of live food nutrition and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers or listeners medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog and during this podcast is discussed in the context of numerous conditions,